Okay. So, do you guys remember where we left off?
Yeah, we were being given 5 potions of water breathing and told, hey, go tell that bronze dragon to stop trying to attack ships, because that's not how it works here. Good luck.
Well, yeah. Well, I had the angle of, offering him lordship.
And I was remembering wondering about things and stuff and things with the lady, because really smart is really smart, and I have things with questions I wouldn't mind answering. But work first. So,
Indeed.
water.
So what?
1 second.
I can hear an ombois. You guys have like a lot of tile or something? Like it sounds like
Thin walls.
It sounds like they're in like a concert hall.
Thin walls.
Well, thin walls or not, it sounds like they're in a concert hall though. Like I've lived in apartment complexes before.
I think we can all honestly agree saying that place has thin walls is a gross misrepresentation of just how bad it is.
Well, yeah, it seems like thin walls and something about the acoustics just makes everybody sound like they're talking in a concert hall. You have or a bathroom. Like you can't talk quietly in a bathroom to save your fucking life.
You talking about the acoustics, or I walked in on this?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the acoustics of like it sounded like, at least to me, through the microphone, when I was hearing Ombois, that he was like talking through a concert hall. And everybody was like thin walls, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely, but I've never heard of thin walls amplifying the wetness or the acoustics of someone's voice. It sounds like you guys must have like a lot of tile or something. Like you sound like you're talking in a bathroom or a concert hall, like where you literally can't be quiet when talking.
Yeah, there is no carpeting here.
Oh, see, no fucking carpeting. There is like not a damper in sight. All right.
Yeah, just the like $500 in soundproofing tiles I put in Ombois' room, but that doesn't even cover the whole room. So
yeah, we'll get like quilt blankets or something. They're cheaper.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I want to start maybe putting in tapestries on the walls and shit.
Well, they even look cool, and I like them. I do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking like old school, like old 14th century English.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so you guys had a dragon to investigate, one who has been apparently demanding tribute or taxes or some sort of treasure from ships entering and leaving the harbor. Oddly enough, it's been reported to be a bronze dragon, though, so that's kind of unusual.
Makes me wonders what's really going on, because that's very unusual for them.
Before we go on our business, the young lord's name was Irenaeus, right? What was his name? The guy whom we helped a little while ago?
Renair?
Sorry. I wonder if Renair would know of anybody like with a diplomatic background.
Okay. So here's a couple of things that you've already been able to gather. At least your characters would have sussed out by now. Nobody in Renair's family gives a fuck about Renair. Which isn't to say that his friends don't respect him or that the people he works with don't respect him. Just that his family doesn't really consider him, they barely consider him a member. In fact, like they mostly grudgingly accept that that's true.
Yeah.
That does, however, mean that he's rubbed shoulders with lots of people. Also, you now know that he has friends who are Harpers, and you know that the Harpers are themselves extremely well connected individuals. So like he could get you a guy, but it might not be a guy he directly worked with.
Okay, okay. All right. Yeah, like I knew his family wouldn't have any connection in that, but like because of that and because he still has to kind of play the game as he is a noble, he would know, or at least I would believe he would know, people of diplomatic standing.
Right, and that's
Or
fair. Like even if he didn't know them personally, he could even at least point you at the right target for sure. However, he probably generally knows a guy, even if he's not like personal deep friends with the guy you need to talk to specifically. He's that kind of connected with that world,
Nice.
sort of
Okay.
like in its plumbing, so to speak.
Yeah. And I'm not even saying this as an idea of like, we should go see Renair so that we can bring him on this adventure and that we can hire this like diplomat to help us out. I was more like thinking of using Renair as a connection to quickly get us to a diplomat to talk to us about stuff that we might be able to use, to talk to this guy, legal things that we can talk about
Right.
with
Are
the
you
bronze
still
dragon.
I was gonna say, are you still thinking about like trying to grant him some sort of peerage or noble
Yeah,
title?
yeah, most definitely. I want to talk to like someone knowledgeable in laws and diplomacy.
Got it. Yeah. He could certainly arrange.
He would also be a good
What's
person
up,
to talk
Diggs?
to
No,
about
Diggs is
finding a
Mike.
Yeah, you're hold
reliable.
on. Hold on. Sorry, dude. You're really quiet, Diggs. I did not hear that.
Why don't we talk to the dragon and see what the dragon wants?
That's kind of what I'd rather do.
Because it's a dragon and it's already.
So what?
Bronze dragons can be
because it's
negotiated
already-
with.
It's not just that.
Well,
it's not
for
just
what
a
it's worth, that
what it
dragon
wants,
hasn't
it's already-
actually killed anybody.
It's already done stuff though, like demanded stuff.
I'm with
Has
Clargus and Diggs.
We don't know that it's actually demanded stuff or if it's merely
We were
suggested
given a job by somebody.
boats that are
We know
coming
it's
in and
done.
out.
You
something.
accepted it.
Oh no!
I didn't.
Again, she
Yeah, we
didn't.
actually all accepted.
She
you were
didn't
there.
specify
No.
that it
I was there. I
Yes.
didn't accept it.
did things to them directly. It might have been more like, "Oh, hey, you're a ship coming through here. I'm a bronze dragon. You know what that means? Wink, wink." And they just, assumed it meant treasure and not like, "Oh, well, okay, I need to tell you a joke." For all we know,
That's-
he's just a trickster.
I mean, that's fair.
That seems grossly
They're-
irresponsible.
They're
especially-
generally not known, though, to be aggressive to humans.
Yeah. But that also seems grossly irresponsible, just walking up to the dragon and saying, "Oi, what you want, mate?"
Why?
Because it's put up a barricade against a well-known trade city. This is a matter of, diplomatic, implications of trade.
Right, so you talk. That's
Right, let's go do some diplomacy.
He's wanting to bring in someone who's well versed in the local diplomacy scene,
Yeah, I'm
who
like,
could
you
give
guys
advice and aid to the situation for the dragon.
Yeah, I'm like, what bargaining pieces do you have? You can just ask for something, and the dragon
Bargain?
could be like the dragon
What's good a
could.
bargain? We need to find out what it wants first.
Right.
The dragon has put up a blockade against
We don't know.
ships.
So
We're
we
not
go
on a
talk to
ship.
the-
No, but
But we will be.
deal with the fact that it's disrupting traffic in the harbor.
Yeah. And it's not like even disrupting traffic because it's a big old kaiju in the middle of the harbor. It is actively, at least from what I remember from the Harper, who is an important noble faction of this
No.
Hold up.
city.
Nope.
Hold on.
Nope.
Actually,
Hold on.
you're working for Force Gray. They operate out of the Mages Tower. They're not the Harpers. Those are different organizations.
Okay. We were working for a well-known individual, though. weren't
Very
we?
much so. Yes.
And so we should operate at least as if we have some class and not just like we're a bunch of
Yeah.
bumfucks in the middle of,
Why do you think
not
we're a
the
bunch of
largest city.
bumfucks?
Because we're just gonna go and walk up to
I'm not a
goddamn-
bumfuck. You might be a bumfuck, but I'm not a
Are
bumfuck.
you a licensed diplomat of the
A
city?
She's,
licensed diplomat? We're talking about a
we-
city
hold
of
up.
Yeah.
thieves.
Hold up.
Yep.
She's a little bit older these days than she is in this picture, but that's the head of the Grey Hands. That's who you've been talking.
Mhm.
And we're dealing with the city of laws. We're dealing with a highly oligarchical, almost republic.
Oh, it's a
And-
kleptocracy, no question. But anyway,
She didn't tell us to be the diplomat, be the liaison. She asked us to deliver a message. That's all. All she wants us to do. If you
She
want to
said
make
find out
a
what's going on. She did not just say get it like that. That was a tertiary thing of the
Right.
entire task that she gave us.
To-
Don't
yeah,
cherry
to be
pick.
specific, what she actually said was if all you can do is figure out why the fuck it's there, she would still consider that a win. But if you could somehow resolve the situation in the harbor, that would be a
It sounds like to me that you two just want to be lazy about the job and ask.
No,
the
I do
dragon
as
what's
well.
going
What's
on.
lazy
Us
about
three.
having a
Us three.
discussion?
Well, it's lazy because we could prepare the discussion.
We
In-
prepare
Well, you
the
don't even
discussion
know
by
what to
asking.
prepare yet.
Right.
You want to
What do I
approach
just
things as
wanna
slowly
do?
as possible, and
I
you want
wanna
to
She's
approach
find out.
thinking
as
that we
possible.
only will have one chance to approach the dragon rather than having multiple audiences with it.
Listen,
And
this
why,
in all
dragon is
fairness-
why are you assuming we don't have diplomats in the party? That's
I'm
what I want to know.
assuming that none of us,
Right,
especially
like, what
the
do you
one
know
who is
about your
most
fellow party member?
lawful-
Have you asked?
I know that I'm the only one who was handed out a list of the laws of the city because I was the one who was most familiar with the laws of the city, and thus.
What
my
do the
opinion
laws of this
is
city
not.
have to do with the dragon?
Well, since I was thinking that we were going to find out what we, the dragon wanted in the first place, which is part of diplomacy, right? Diplomatic laws should be upheld, especially ones that have to deal with trade and blockades and ownership of strips of land that may or may not need to be given out to a bronze dragon, because our party, out of character, isn't going to be doing anything but accepting what the bronze dragon has to say or using some bargaining trips that the bronze dragon will be amused to play with.
But the first
Okay,
thing we need to do is
hold-
but wait, the first thing we need to do is find out what the dragon wants.
Yeah, okay, hold up.
And we should
A couple of things.
be about how we go about that.
Sure. No, I understand. Hold on. Let me see if I understand what you're trying to say here, Verde. Or rather, let me see if I understand what you have said, because I think I get it. Your appeasements would even be on the table in that kind of situation.
Yeah, we have no authority to make any kind of appeasements to any dragon for any authority in the city besides the authority of this one noble who said, figure out what's going on. I would really like it if you could, solve it, but if you can't, figuring out what's going on will be a win. And it sounds like two of my party members have at least suggested the simplest way to action and the least prepared way to act.
Well, okay.
Okay.
Hold on
Prepare
a
is to
sec.
find out what it wants and then go
You-
find out how we give it.
You're
Right.
you're
Not being
you're
able to talk to it
Mr. You're Mr. pedantic about the rules, all right. Well, they've been committing crimes against the city and crimes against the citizens. So right now we've got a criminal dragon on the loose, if you want to look at it from the angle of the law.
Well, yes,
Now,
I
I'd
have
like to
looked at
maybe
it on
not-
that angle, but it's also a dragon, and I can't deal with that personally. Other
But I
than
can.
trying to abuse with it. You
But
Okay,
I
hey.
can.
You can
Hey,
deal with
Verde.
the dragon.
So here's a couple of things. You're kind of new to the city, so to be fair, you might not know this yet, but the folks who are not new to the city understand that the commoner's understanding of politics in the city is basically this. The Lord of Waterdeep is a pseudo-elected position chosen by what they call the masked lords of the city, basically the secret powers that actually run the place, and everybody knows who some of them. Xanathar must be one of them, for example. Likewise, the leader of the Zentarum is probably another one. Lord Neverember's been elected Open Lord of Waterdeep twice already, so it's a pretty safe bet he's one of them. But the truth of the matter is that when it comes to things like who does the negotiating for treaties or who recognizes anything like peerage in the city, all of that happens behind closed doors, and nobody knows how the fuck that works for real. It's not that kind of like it's not a proud and noble city in any way, shape, or form. It's way more like Senate politics in that regard. Stuff happens with deals and handshakes way more often than it happens in open ceremonies or abeyance of the law.
Okay. Well, even if that's the case, who the fuck are we to just ask a dragon what the fuck he wants? It's a dragon.
It's a bronze dragon, which,
It's an
to be fair,
intelligent-
I would be curious to see what
be fair,
displaced the
means that it
dragon.
could puppeteer us and then play around, and
Oh.
it's likely not to eat us afterwards, just be amused with us.
right, I was going to say, one thing that people know about bronze dragons is that they generally like humans. Like when I say they're not aggressive to humans, I mean that they actually like will work alongside them to take down tyrants and evil rulers and stuff. Like they're the good guys.
By the
So
way,
the likelihood that you'd be able to talk to a bronze dragon is way higher than, say, a red.
by the way, quick update. My game crashed when you tried to share that photo, so I just rewatched it.
Awesome.
Yeah, evidently it didn't. That photo must have been, what was that? 7 gigs, 6 gigs.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was like a terabyte of data, but I thought you could handle it.
It's a good picture.
So,
No, jokes aside, I'm pretty sure their file transfer protocol just sucks ass.
It's garbage. Well, let me put it this
Wait,
way.
they have a file transfer
Well, I mean,
protocol?
we could
You're
just
interested
go
in
up-
you're interested
we
in
could go up
democracy and you're
and
interested in
just talk to it.
negotiation.
We're
and you're
going
interested
to
in
need a
laws.
boat to get into the middle of the bay anyway.
Sure.
Right,
What?
so we can talk to our friends to get us a vessel there. But I'm more concerned and more wondering about what displaced the dragon.
right.
Yeah, and what can we do to
Why
appease
not-
it?
Well,
again,
we
why do you
should
think
ask
need to
it.
appease it?
Right, I want to go out there and ask, because potentially the dragon could be like, hey, somebody has raided my home, has displaced me, and I have come here to reacquire my treasure. All dragons, don't care who they are, they want their hoard, all of their treasure. And if they think their treasure is here because of whatever reason, or someone has taken their treasure, well, it makes sense to raid merchant ships to get some treasure back. I mean, this is the port city. You want something, it is here or comes through here.
Yeah.
So let's talk to Rainier. Let's see if he can help us get a vessel from someone we can trust. Go out there, talk to the dragon, and start up the process. That way we can then, if need be, contact the lady on high or figure out another solution to the problem that we can do. Because this is a rite of passage. This lady is trying to see if we're actually just dumb lucky or we actually have some skills for a better paying job. Who doesn't like shinies? I like shinies. Do you like shinies? You're needing shinies to take back to your emperor to make your home better, right?
Careful. I think you might give Max some PTSD flashbacks if you say the word shiny.
My bad.
I was thinking it.
I
But no,
think whatever
but you see
whatever
where I'm
happens,
going with this, right?
we ought to make sure we wrap up business today or figure out a time after tomorrow to resume it otherwise, because tomorrow we're going to be meeting back with Floon and trying to figure out plans for how to move forward.
Right.
So, we don't want to spend too long on this. Hopefully we can just have a conversation with the dragon, at least figure out the extent to which it's, why it's here, and what it would take to move
Yeah.
on or stop doing what it's doing, or it could be that it convinces us that it's doing something good and can actually prove it, and then, well, that's what we get to report back.
It's going to convince us of whatever.
Or we find out that there's some else that we can help it fix a problem, prove and show like we're actually extra special shiny things and can get some bigger, better jobs because this lady has lots of connections. Don't you want somebody who's most likely in the...
To be honest, they would probably be able to help us set up better defenses if we wanted the
exactly
downstairs taken care of. Also, probably help us move that water if the pump doesn't work.
Hey, Snipe, what happened with the Griffin Guard again?
What do you mean?
I mean, like, usually when something like this happens, the Griffin...
Oh, you mean why haven't the Griffin Guard reacted to the problem?
I remember being answered this too, so it would be on Mudar's mind.
Hey, quick aside, I have tried multiple times, cannot join the server. You might have to restart it.
But that will kick everybody else?
Oh, hold on. I finally got a password prompt, let's see. And yes, it would.
I mean, if that's what we have to do, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. We haven't actually, loaded anything new.
Except that photo, right?
It was a hot photo.
So, I just think of the penalty for theft for a dragon. Flogging, followed by imprisonment for up to a 10-day. Hard labor up to a year, or a fine equal to... A flogging. All right, yes, we're going to have to...
Clargus,
that's going to take a while to even set up the manpower.
You have to understand. You have to understand my means. Of course, that's the conventional punishment, but it's also a dragon. So mayhaps, if we can appease it, we can also get something out of it. This could be a boon for the city, is all I'm trying to say. And, you know, I do take back the insulting words I said before. He turns to Dig specifically. You seem a well-learned man, right? Perhaps you could write down the kinds of heady notes that I was thinking of when I was thinking of hiring a scholarly, bookly type for such diplomatic affair. I merely thought there was more pomp and circumstance about the city. And it's
Why?
not.
Why?
Because I'm a fucking paladin.
Right, but this is Waterdeep.
Yeah.
He
Never heard of Waterdeep before?
He's like the dude from Kansas going to fucking New York, man.
He must be. He's like, everyone's friendly out here, right?
I didn't say everybody's friendly.
No, but certainly the average citizen is right and just and true.
No, there's just laws that need to be followed.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I'm a paladin of conquest, remember? It's not.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That there are
You're not an oath paladin.
How?
It's more like I think that there are laws, and fine, I understand that maybe some of you aren't following them.
So something I would have asked for before we left, aside from those potions, was if she could have arranged for us to get a boat to the where the dragon's at and back.
Oh, she is absolutely happy to do so. That's a nothing. That's a pittance to her. I mean, assuming that you're only going to use it for the day, of course. But yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the intent.
Yeah, she can absolutely do that for you. Like, won't even think about it if you asked. So yeah, we can wreck on.
All right.
Max, let me know if I got a roll for this, but am I familiar with this bronze dragon? Has he been known to have existed in the area for a long time? Let's say any period of time within the past however many years?
Good question. Dragons are.
Can you do me a favor and roll insight?
Sure, I was gonna roll a history instead, but
if you would prefer to roll history, you can, because we can use reporting the news of the day as the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, absolutely. So here's what you know. This dragon's been here probably for about 3 months now. The first sightings were sort of Loch Ness Monster mysterious and reported in in various like lurid descriptions in pamphlets and journals that people were sort of peddling for a while. They all thought it was like some sort of unholy abomination from the deep come to eat the ships of the harbor or whatever. But the sightings all sort of died down. And you actually looked into it yourself at one point. And what you realized was if they saw anything, it was probably just one of the many bronze dragons that live and sort of breed on the coast. It is the time of year when the adolescents generally come looking for mates, for example. It surprises you to hear that they're interacting, that any of them would be interacting with the literal harbor, but it's not so alarming to you that you thought you needed to do anything about it for the safety of the city or anything like that.
Right.
Mostly it's just, pumps in the water at night, that kind of stuff. Like most people didn't actually interact with it at all. So hearing that it's been demanding treasure is weird.
Perhaps someone threatened their children, or its children, or perhaps it's a child itself.
Dark times indeed, if that's the case.
Only one way to find out.
It's a dragon.
Did she say how old it was? Because I thought it was young.
She did say that it was relatively small for a bronze dragon, so that presumes youth, though it could also just, I guess, be diminutive. I mean, it's not a guarantee. She thought it was.
Perhaps something happened to its parents. If it's a child, perhaps their breeding grounds were threatened by someone in the harbor. Perhaps some aggressive mining or fishing.
Must put a stop to it at once. Wouldn't want to have to put an end to the dragon.
No one said anything about killing the dragon.
It's the worst possible scenario.
Yeah, pro tip, you all know you can't take a dragon.
Oh, I couldn't take a dragon. It's up to the city at that point.
Yeah,
Got a very
I
tiny
mean,
one.
well, actually, you know what? I take that back. If you got really lucky and you were properly prepared, and it was a young dragon, maybe you guys could take a dragon.
It's up to the city at that point.
I
Mudar
wouldn't
is
want to
still
face the rest of
skeptical on
the parent.
entire.
Okay, so we're gonna go find the dragon then. So let's head to the docks.
Well, we were going to go
take it
talk to
about.
Raynar so that we could get a boat and then go talk to the dragon.
No,
We just retconned to where we got a boat from the lake.
Oh, okay. I did
Yeah.
not hear that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's got.
So we are heading to the docks. Great.
All right, let me share the harbor map with you.
Got a giant question mark. There we go.
Yeah, let its terrible file system do its job.
Hey, this is like a usable map.
Okay, I've thrown a little marker out where he was last seen. Let me put a marker for the party's boat on. See if I have a boat token.
Is it what next to the dark spot looks like a fishtail?
Yeah, kind of in the middle of the map there.
Yeah.
Huh. So there is an icon for a rowboat. However, it is for some reason a mimic. I don't know what campaign that's for, but
My God. I thought we could trust that lady. She gave us a fake boat.
See, this is why we should have gone and talked to Renee.
Right.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to fucking gamify it and talk to fucking the lady and get everything from her.
let me find a different token. That's hilarious. Oh God.
I'll be honest. I don't really care if we have a token or not. I won't be upset.
My immersion's broken, man. If I don't have a fucking boat token,
I'm already unsubscribing. I mean,
I'm joking. I had to take the opposite.
okay, there's literally no boat in my token library. That's weird. All right, I'm just gonna use a random fucking token.
Unsubbed. Done. Game over, man. He smites the boat, walks home.
Why is it doing this to me? Why?
Doing
Why
what?
fantasy? There we go. Okay. So the boat she gives you is basically a dory. You know, it probably has like 3 bench seats, couple of sets of oars. Probably built for a maximum of like 8 people, 12 people. But generally, like sitting on benches and rowing, like it's not a, you know, it's like a skiff or a launch. It's not a ship or anything, but it's enough to get you around the harbor. It even does have a little mast in the center that you can hang a small sail that's stowed under one of the benches if you want to. But given the distances involved, it's probably just faster to row.
Bro.
Moodar, you're taking up a whole bench by yourself.
Yeah. Can I have like 3 oars? Paddle them up together. I can row for 1 man. Or for 3 men.
Yep, there are several ships in the harbor. None of them seem to be in any kind of distress. Out in the middle of the harbor is where you know that the dragon has been accosting ships, so that's where I've thrown the marker. You don't see any sign, however, of said dragon.
Have any of the folks on the docks mentioned any sightings, or is that basically the spot where the people on the docks last kind of said?
Yeah, like they had many people on the docks have talked about the dragon. Some people have like there's basically fisherman stories going around now, you know. Oh, it ate the side out of a ship. Oh, I hear it's looking for its lost love. Oh, I hear it's gonna take over all of Waterdeep. There's tons of stories. But if you were to sift through all of them, what you would basically hear is, yeah, we all saw it out in the middle of the harbor a couple of days ago.
I guess we should probably head out that way and see if we can lure it.
Lure it. I thought we were just talking to it.
Well, we gotta find it first. I mean, if it's just kind of, you know, bobbing along,
you mean attract its attention.
Yeah, if it's just bobbing along on the water and we can just pull up and say hi, that's great. But I scarcely doubt that's going to be the situation.
Right. I mean, part of the challenge is that bronze dragons breathe water. So, like, it might literally just be taking a nap down at the bottom of the harbor somewhere, right?
Anybody know how to write, yo, we want to talk to you in Draconic? Could write it on this blanket and put it on a, on a stick.
Huh. I see. Like, hang it like a flag.
Yeah.
Write it on the sail. Put the sail up.
We could do that, but we would also have to drop one under the water so that they can see it there too.
Well, why don't we talk to the people at the docks and see if they know how?
Yeah, is there anything specific to the boats that have actually encountered the dragon and like had to deal with it?
Time of day, like all kinds of stuff.
Interestingly enough, every story you hear is, oh, I know a guy who served on, X ship, the Golden Chimera, the Running Dolphin, the Eye Catcher. Like they're all, obvious like freighters and clippers that come in through the harbor, and nobody seems to have a story of their own as a firsthand eye.
All right. Do any of them mention what cargo was aboard those ships?
You want to make an investigation or an insight check for me?
Sure.
I'm assuming that should be with advantage since we went out. Yeah.
He got it way better than I did.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Thankfully, Clargus has got you guys. Okay. So no, nobody mentions specific cargoes. In fact, the more questions you ask, the faster most of these stories fall apart. However, one set of stories does seem to have a consistent set of details, and that involves a ship called the Eye Catcher. It seems like every story about the Eye Catcher is the same. It was coming in through the harbor's southern gate. The dragon surfaced from below, accosted the crew, demanded some sort of price that they refused to pay, and so it took something from them. Treasure of some sort. The various stories are all different on that, so you have no idea what was actually taken. However, that's the only story that has any sort of consistency at all.
Is there any way to investigate the crew of the Eye Catcher, find out where the ship is at? Is it already left? Anything like that?
Actually, it's a relatively well-known ship. Like its name is not ironic. It is fairly well known. A member of a large shipping consortium from the west, from the Isles. I want to say the Mouche Isles, but I may be wrong about that. But that said, it's for an island operation, not a Waterdeep central operation. It is, however, a triple-masted, large, almost galleon-esque freighter, well known for shipping all kinds of cargo from across the deep ocean to the west from the islands. You don't know where any of the crew are staying. They generally actually stay on the ship when they're in harbor. However, you do know that they have some sort of deal where they actually anchor up in the naval harbor on the northwestern section of the.
So we wouldn't even be able to access them anyhow.
No. In fact, the dragon would have been accosted by the Griffin Guard if it had hit the ship there. It's only the fact that it happened to be in the middle of the Great Harbor itself that even left it open that way.
All right.
I wonder if I can try to use prestidigitation to send a signal through the water.
Yeah, you could probably do that. I mean,
Like
it's going to be distorted by the right. It's going to be distorted by the water.
Right, but if I do there should be a way to do a sound like a dragon call that would travel through water, right?
If we want to wait a little longer, I could create basically a device.
A sonophone.
I could create one.
Or a hydrophone, right? Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Wouldn't bronze dragons have like some sort of call or something underwater?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Diggs is suggesting exactly, in fact, for today. And that does actually sound reasonable to me, Diggs. Like, they're a common enough species in this area at this time of year that people would know what that sounds like.
Well, and I also speak Draconic, so.
Yeah,
oh, fuck.
So
yeah,
you're
golden.
Going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems totally doable to me, then, dude.
You want me to roll something for it, or?
Prestidigitation doesn't have a save, right? It just happens.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think you're fine. What's the range on prestidigitation? 60 feet?
No, I think it was lower than that, but it's traveling through water, right? So
yeah.
I mean, I'm expecting it to, but sound should be distorted. I'm not expecting it to.
Yeah, no, I'm more imagining how far it would be likely to be comprehensible. I'm just trying to figure out an easy metric to see how often you'd have to catch.
Oh, well, I'm saying like go to wherever that spot was. Wasn't there a specific spot that we'd normally see it, or it was normally?
Yeah, yeah. It's where there's a little like dragon token.
Right.
If you check the map.
Right. So I was thinking of rowing down there and then sending it down through the water.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to do
There.
it the whole time you were going. That
No.
actually is super easy. Then we just need to
Yeah.
like, figure out how long it'll take you to get your token. Who's rowing? Speaking of how long it's going to take you to get.
I'll row.
Probably the two big guys.
So Paroma and are those your heavy hitters? I mean,
It
Fargus is pretty big too.
Yeah, no, it'd be Clargus and Mudar in case Karoma wanted to try to make that device while we're rowing out or whatever.
Got it. Okay, cool. That'll work. I was just gonna say you're actually a heavy party.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you've got two big ass dudes rowing, you're probably going to be all right in terms of like exhaustion. So let's assume top speed. Honestly, it probably takes you like 30 minutes to row out to the center of the harbor.
Can I set up a fishing line?
Oh, you could. For Roma, that means you probably won't have enough time to finish your device. Unless you guys want to deliberately link.
I mean, he probably would have started it while we were kind of talking with some of the folks on the docks.
Yeah, okay. I'll accept that. That's fine.
Cool.
Okay. So as you guys are rowing up to that general area, there are other ships passing by. Nobody actually like interferes with your path. You're kind of an almost too small ship for anyone to really care about anyway, for what it's worth. You don't see the eye catcher in the harbor. However, you know from talking to folks around that it is absolutely docked right now, so it's probably up over at the Misshore docks over in the Naval Harbor. You just can't see it probably because the seawall's in the way. However, as you guys are rowing over, you notice it's actually a particularly good day for the water. It's very clear to the point where you can see the multitude of wrecks that are sort of like scattered across the various depths of the harbor. As you pass over the deepest part of the harbor, it's a little too dark to see anything down there, but along the upper shelves, there are plenty of like old wrecks. There are even a couple of like what look to be statuary or masonry pieces, as if maybe at one point someone had like tried to build a reclaimed island in the area and it sank into the harbor or something. And around one of the wrecks that you're looking at, and actually a very large wreck that seems to have upended itself so that you're looking at its keel from the surface. It's probably down like 150 feet, like it's pretty deep. But you can see that there is a curtain of bubbles rising out of the hole in the side of the hull, basically right at the keel and the bow, as if the ship had sank because it struck something, and now bubbles are streaming out of the hole created by that collision. That's unusual for what it's worth. All of you notice it because, like I said, the water is exceptionally clear today. Otherwise, no sign of anything really.
So say this again. There's bubbles coming from the.
Yeah, like to use a modern day reference, it's almost like you're looking at a shipwreck aquarium piece that has an air stone inside of it. Like there's an upside down hull of a wooden ship. There's a big, huge hole in the front, sort of like front left side of that keel, just ripped into the hole, and out of that space is just this like curtain of bubbles that just straight up shouldn't be there.
You know what? I could probably swim down there and poke around for a few seconds and see what's going on.
It's about
My-
150 feet down.
I could
That's
swim down there
actually
and
not.
around for any amount of seconds because I don't breathe water. I mean, I don't breathe.
Right, you
period.
don't breathe. Yeah,
And I
I'm like,
can
you could just
withstand the
step
pressure.
off the boat.
That's true.
But I'm wondering first off if it looks like it's what. So would a water breathing dragon give off bubbles?
Not that you're aware of, no.
Does it? I mean, I'm wondering if they breathe via gills. How do they breathe through water?
It's an innate magical trait. They just take in water as if it was air.
Which is why I'm wondering if it's.
Yeah,
bubbles would be
it's
related.
certainly not caused by dragon breath or anything like that.
Okay.
Whatever.
All right.
So,
Karoma wants to
are
go
you
down
just
and
gonna,
investigate.
step off? How are you going to get back up if you do that? Does anybody have any?
Block and tackle.
Can you swim?
I can swim as well, surprisingly.
How could you swim? Hold on.
I can swim just fine, thank you. I have an
Yeah,
athletic.
how much do you weigh?
I weigh as much as I need to, baby.
All right, what's your athletics actually? Hold on, let's just go.
It's +1. I got a +1.
Okay, no, that fair enough. You can swim. I feel like that's an oversight in that character.
Mary Sue.
And if I need to, I can just use jump on myself and just fucking,
Nice. See,
Michael
that's what
Jordan
I
out
want.
of it.
Like, I'm like, they should make up for the fact that you can't swim by giving you like fucking impellers and shit. You know,
I mean, listen, give me an hour.
like you were right. I just said like you're fucking Iron Man or something.
Right. Give me an hour.
All right. So Paroma, if you are gonna step off and investigate that wreck, let me know. I will let you know what you see when.
Sure. Investigating.
Okay. First of all, the trip down is relatively uneventful. The harbor's generally clear of large fish. You know, plenty of like what a tropical location would call reef fish, but like plenty of like shoal fish. But no like real major predators or anything. So it's just, you see some fish floating around and you see a lot of garbage. It's actually a lot of fish. It's not a very clean harbor. They don't trawl. You get down to the bottom basically uneventfully. It is, however, basically just like loose silt, and so you sink down to like mid calf before you actually come to a stop, and you have to like slog through it to move. So you find it difficult, but you can move. It's the equivalent of moving through difficult terrain. It would basically take half your movement if we were in combat. As you approach the wreck, you begin to see signs pretty much immediately. There's no like color in the light, like everything is sort of grayish and blue, but nonetheless, you begin to see the glint of metal and a few other things nearby. And you begin to realize as you walk up, there is like, you would call it trash, except all of it seems to be silver and gold, but there is effectively like a trail of detritus, sort of almost forming a kind of carpet leading up to that hole where those bubbles are coming out. As if something was carrying so much in its hands that it was spilling out as it moved, and it sort of left a trail behind it. As you look at the stuff, as you walk closer to it, it's like coins, a couple of like necklaces. It's like literally almost stereotypically treasure. It might be worth, some money here and there, but ultimately is like chump change in the world of Waterdeep. They're trinkets. They're the kinds of thing a sailor would have in their pocket. As you approach the actual wreck of the ship, it's partially buried in the silt. It's upside down. You have no indication of the name of the ship or even really the age of the ship. It's really hard to tell because it's mostly covered in like this sort of like green fuzzy algae carpet. that curtain of bubbles is just pushing out of it like mad. If you like push your head up and into it, you can't even see inside because there's so many bubbles. It's completely obscuring. The only way you could see what's inside is if you literally jumped into it and somehow emerged at the source of those bubbles.
Bubbles.
Yeah, sorry, did I get cut off there?
Hmm.
Yeah. Like you would have to go inside to even see anything. Like it's
Inside
just
the
so
ship?
much. Yeah.
All right, I'll go inside.
Many bubbles.
Okay. You can pull yourself up and sort of like you were climbing a fence, kind of pull yourself into the hole. And if you do, it's like literally just a chaos of bubbles. You can't see anything at first. But if you let go of the hole, you will eventually fall about, you would guess, 5 feet and sort of land on what would have been the ceiling of the deck that this hole vented into. And as you look around, you realize the whole place is filled with air. And if you look up, there's almost like a glass pane where that hole is that's sort of like bubbling and rippling like boiling water. And you realize that that curtain of bubbles is being caused by the fact that this space is filled with air and it's spilling out of that hole. You look around and it's actually relatively dry, and you're basically staring at the upside down deck of a ship. And there is treasure everywhere. Like none of it is particularly valuable. There's some silver things, like, but as a whole, it's, you could probably buy a house with all the stuff that's here if you took the time to gather it all back up.
I got block and tackle. No, I'm joking.
Is there anything of note that just jumps out to him easily, or would he need to do a investigative?
There is a set of stairs that was clearly meant to run to the upper decks of the ship, so that now is an upside down set of stairs that runs from what is Roma's ceiling to his floor. And it is dark, so you can't actually see. You can't actually see where those stairs lead, or if that's an open space as well. But you don't see like any sign of a dragon or any other habitation. I mean, however, something built whatever this is.
What, the ship?
Well, this space. I mean, ships don't fill with air on their own.
Well, it could have been basically capsized, and it could still have oxygen in it. That was actually my assumption based on your description.
I get you. Just the way that it's spilling out, like the hole's too big. Basically, the hole's probably like 9 feet wide. Like
And
the space that you can see inside the ship should have spilled out of that hole a long time.
Interesting. Does it seem impossible in nature?
Well, if you were looking for like reasonable reason why this could be happening, there could be some place where some gas is coming out of the earth and this poor boat happened to fall on top of it, I guess, but that seems really unlikely.
Okay, I'm actually going to cast alarm in this space.
Okay, alarm makes a noise, right?
Alarm makes a noise in my head. A mental
only your
alarm.
head?
So a mental alarm alerts you with a ping in your mind, and an audible alarm produces the sound of a handbell for 10 seconds within 60 feet.
Okay, that's the part I was trying to remember. Okay. An alarm is triggered when somebody enters this.
Correct. A 20
Okay.
foot cube.
Okay. Do you want to, like, is there anything, do you need to do anything to actually cast that spell, or are you just letting me know that you're casting it? Like, is there a die roll that you need to make?
Nope, I'm casting it.
Okay. There doesn't seem to be any sort of indication that your alarm is broken immediately. However, you will know if it goes off. The spell certainly succeeded.
All right. We'll see if anything actually lives down here. Okay.
And Mudar, to answer your question, you did. Each individual member of the party, even Karoma, which means technically you have one more than you actually need if you all are.
I was gonna take that and just take.
What
the
was that? What was that
No, I didn't give it to you.
question?
I'm holding
No,
on to it.
not that. No, dude.
Mudar was asking
I'm a
if you got
fucking
potions
paladin,
of
dude. I
water breathing.
wasn't gonna steal
Yes.
your fucking thing. I mean, Mudar is going to take his potion and take the opportunity to enjoy being able to be at the bottom of the goddamn ocean.
Diggs, you are casting your call now. Right?
I would wait until we hear back from Karoma, I think.
Okay.
I mean, are we following? So, a few questions. How long does the potion last?
I believe it's like fucking 12 hours or 6 hours or something like that. Hold on, let me. It's absurdly long though.
Okay. But we should wait to hear back from Karoma and then.
I'm going to uh, make sure that I've investigated everything properly.
Do you go up the stairs towards the top of the water?
I assume I already had.
Yeah, so let's wait to hear back from Karoma and then we'll call for the dragon.
Oh god, this version is so bad at loading data. Weird, the last version wasn't. I wonder what they changed.
I wonder how it's optimized.
Oh, sorry. Water breathing is 1 hour. I don't know why I thought it was so long. Weird. That's actually a shitty amount of time for a 500 gold piece potion. Jesus. All right, Karoma, if you investigate the floor, it's basically a like 6 feet long and 3.5 feet wide rectangle cut into the floor. It's dark. Do you have night?
Yes.
To what range?
120 feet, I believe.
Yeah, you have superior dark vision. Where is that on character sheets? Weird.
It's over on the main page under senses.
Oh, I see it. Hey, Karoma, you know what you don't have? Dark vision.
Interesting. Is that an oversight or what?
No, it turns out your race does not have dark
Well,
vision.
in that case, I pull out my my dagger
Lamp.
and dagger and it lights up.
Okay. So, as you raise your retrievable dagger ring, yeah. As you raise your dagger ring, and it lights up, you notice first of all that you are standing on dirt rather than the wooden floor of the ship at this point, and that you are standing on a sort of like hill that opens onto a natural grotto. The boat is literally sitting on the opening over a natural cave, sort of sealing the entrance to it. You can't tell why this cave is full of air, but at the moment it is full of air. It's very clear looking around that it wasn't always that way. The side of the hill that you're standing on is covered in kelp and various other sort of sea grasses that are now dying in the dry space. At the bottom of the hill, about 15 feet further down, begins a pile, a sort of mound of old armor, swords, glasses, plates, silver platters, like treasure, sure, but like the kind of stuff that you find, in like shipwrecks, not the kind of stuff that people amass because they're looking to gain wealth. And in fact, most of it's in really bad states of decay. Many of them are covered in barnacles. The silver is often so tarnished that it's just black. The iron's all rusted and encrusted with stuff. However, I mean, technically, it's treasure. Sort of nestled around this mound of salvage, for lack of a better way to put it, is a bronze dragon, sleeping quietly. If you had to guess, you'd say he's probably about 35 feet from tip to tail, the tip of snout. His wings are folded, so you can't tell. You can't tell what size they may be, and to be honest, you can't even see if he has wings at all. You're assuming. Colors, hard to come by in the dim light, but it's very obviously a bronze dragon. You could tell that immediately. Doesn't seem to have noticed that you're there so far.
I configure my alarm to not go off if bronze dragons cross it.
Okay.
But anything else that cross, well, I mean, not me, obviously, not any of the party members, but
Sure.
interesting. So it's sleeping, you say?
Yeah, it's barely moving, like eyes closed, not even snoring, but you're assuming it's just.
Interesting. How does it seem like a child or what?
It's pretty young. Like you know that they are generally much larger than this in their old age. That said, it's not a baby. Like it's probably, 15, 20, maybe even 30 years old.
Interesting. Well, I
Baby Yoda was 50, just saying.
yeah. Baby Yoda couldn't rip me apart.
Says
I'm
you.
just saying in terms of age,
Yeah.
Baby
Yeah.
Yoda was still a baby at 50. I'm just saying.
Very true.
600 UB look this good, I hope.
I'm actually far. Doesn't matter. Interesting.
That seems like the perfect place for us to have a talk with the dragon.
Sort of judging what you've seen from him, this is kind of the impression you get of what he looked like. Again, you technically haven't actually seen those wings. They're on the other side of that treasure mountain, but you know they're there. It's a fucking dragon.
I mean, if we're gonna have the talk with the dragon down there, I'd rather use the potion to swim back up than to swim down. Seems like the bigger.
If it
thing
lasts
would just
12
swim.
hours, then you don't have to worry about.
No, it's only
12
it's
hours.
only an hour. I was wrong about that.
I see. Well, who says we have to go down?
Yeah, you could invite the dragon up if you wanted to wake it up. I mean, it maybe won't mind that you're sitting in its treasure pile.
I'm going to hide first. I'm serious. I'm going to hide.
You want to roll a little stealth for me?
Yes. Oh, come on. Even with a +5. I mean, do I get
Yeah.
a disadvantage because it's sleeping? I mean, I have plenty of time, assuming I don't wake it up to,
All right, yeah, I'll let you roll that again. Go ahead.
look for a good place to hide. 11. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it's better than nothing. I mean, you do manage to find, you sort of like nestle yourself up against some of the treasure.
Right.
It's really the best place to hide unless you want to like call out from the hole in the ceiling like ceiling.
Right. I say, excuse me.
At least he probably smells like the rest of the treasure.
Right, exactly. He's not a biological dude. So
Excuse me.
you feel a sort of like tremble, a wave of movement pass through the treasure. But nobody says anything at first. You hear the sounds of like metal rasping against metal. And then after a moment, somebody says, that's new.
I apologize for the intrusion. I know you were sleeping, but I've heard that there might be some problems in the area, and my companions are looking to help in any way we can. If you promise to have a cordial conversation, I'll gladly reveal myself.
As you say that, you feel rumbling and vibrating through the treasure pile, and almost directly above you, slithering from around around the outside of your sort of vision comes the dragon's head, and he's actually looking up at the ship as he says it. But so you don't think he's actually seen you. But he says, "Well, I'm always one willing to talk. Who are you, little one? I don't feel."
I would be surprised if you did. I am but a humble servant of the city. My name is Kuroma, and I step out.
As you begin to shift, he sort of looks down at you and he says, I see. Warforged, huh?
So you
Clever.
know my kind.
I've heard of your type. I've never met one before, though. Interesting. I can see the magic in you.
But it's hard to feel, isn't it?
It's interesting. As if rocks had thoughts.
It's a mystery I myself don't quite understand. However, perhaps we may discuss it at a later time. For now, I'm here to help you. I understand that there have been issues in the harbor. Now, I don't know for certain if you're involved, but perhaps you know of the issues I referred to. After all, it does seem like you live in this harbor. Or nearby, at least.
It's wonderful, don't you think? There's so many. And he looks down at his pile of treasure as he says it, and you swear to God, it's almost like his fucking snout turns up in a smile. He says, "There's so much stuff down here." And he says, "Yeah, I've been here for a little while. It's fun. You are such busy people here."
Indeed. Mortals never seem to rest. And I imagine it's easy pickings down here where the only thing else is fish and, well, the odd mechanical contraption.
The fish are quite tasty, if I'm being honest.
I can appreciate that. They are quite tasty. Now,
I've also already eaten all the big ones, but I hope nobody mind.
I certainly don't, but I imagine some fishermen might be a little cross.
Oh, there's more to be found in the sea. Just, who fishes in the harbor anyway, right?
I imagine you would know who fishes in the harbor.
Indeed, and who swims in the harbor, too.
And what's the answer, then? Less
Mostly
people now,
fish.
right?
Almost no one actually fishes in the harbor. A few of the desperate ones, but I don't catch the kind of fish they're looking for. Much too small.
Well, that's good. It's you always have to be mindful of ecosystems. You'd hate to unbalance it and then screw yourself over.
Yeah, you're very wise for a thinking rock, aren't you? But you're right. We work better together. Every community thrives with every contribution, right?
Indeed. Speaking of communities, I understand that there's more than just you here of your kind.
Well, the harbor is, I mean, I hesitate to call it mine, but among my people, the harbor is definitely mine.
I see.
I don't really have a better word.
Well, then perhaps you know of what has been occurring in the harbor as of late.
Oh, indeed.
Are you the one responsible?
Well, an interesting way to look at it. I would say no. No, I am not the one responsible.
Would the people disagree?
I suppose all things depend on how you look at it.
So, based on the perspective of those who live in the harbor, how would they view you?
Well, I would hope. Well, most of them, I suppose. Most seem happy to share with me, though.
Share with you? What do you mean?
Oh, he says, excited, and he begins to sort of push through his pile of stuff. And he eventually alights upon a chest that he holds out to you, a sea chest that he holds out to you in the palm of one big dragon claw. And then with one talon on the other, he opens it to reveal a set of books inside. And he says, for example, this wonderful collection of tales from the South. Did you know there's a desert there? I've never seen it.
Nor have I. Is it large?
It seems to be a whole continent's worth.
Interesting. Where did you
I've-
acquire?
I've never seen so much dry sand.
Well, you do have wings. What's stopping you from flying there and checking it out yourself?
Well, perhaps when my time here is done, I would like to see it. I
see.
would.
So what ties you here?
I don't suppose even a thinking rock would understand that one.
Try me. I have advanced processing.
I'm seeking the answer to a riddle.
A riddle.
So far, no one's been able to give me the answer when I've asked.
What's the riddle? Who posed this riddle to you?
It's one I discovered myself, actually. One that, well, that the world itself seemed to present.
I see. Tell me more.
I want to know why. I want to know why a tree would make a fish of wood and how it could swim when it should float.
You want to know how a tree would make a fish of wood and how it would float?
I want to know why. I want to know how it would swim rather than float. I mean, surely a tree's fish of any kind should simply float and bob up on the surface like any would, right?
Possibly, but you don't float, do you?
No, I'm not wood.
Are you saying that there are fish made of wood?
Have you not seen a wooden fish?
Down here?
I've seen a wooden fish.
Where?
In this very harbor.
Interesting.
He feels very smug, you can tell.
Right. I see. Well, you do have rather large eyes. I imagine you have no issue seeing in the dark, do you?
What would a tree even want with a wooden fish? Do you see the dilemma? I just don't understand.
That is a difficult one. That said, while I might not have the answer myself, I do know of several individuals who might have the answer you seek. May I suggest a conversation with them? If you have the time, of course. Perhaps you might find the answer you're looking for. And at the very least, I
Oh?
can promise you a tasty fish or two.
Well, I've always time for fish. Introduce me to your friends then. And he looks around.
Gladly. Would you be willing to meet them above? They, unlike us, have difficulties underwater.
Oh, surface friends. Absolutely. He looks down
Excellent.
at you for a moment and he says, would you like me to carry you?
If you don't mind, I
You
would very much
seem
appreciate it.
heavy.
I am weighed down.
And as he says that, he basically picks you up like a 4-year-old kid picking up a He-Man figure, and then alights through the hole in the roof that you came through. Without even stopping, he basically just kicks off the edge of that hole straight to the sort of like missing piece of the hull of the ship that covers his little grotto. Pushes out into the water, spreads his massive wings and flexes them. And you can literally, even in his hand, secured in his grip, can feel the weight of the water as it's buffeted by those wings. And he goes shooting skyward. For everybody else,
One quick question. As we're going, I say, by the way, what's your name?
he laughs and he looks down at you and he says, Zelopharn. And you hear it in your mind more than in the water. For everybody else, as the dragon rises, you can see it moving with speed, growing larger as it sort of separates from the curtain of bubbles that you've been watching. And you can see Kiroma clutched in its claws. It spreads its wings beneath the water. The image goes all sort of askew for a moment, and the next thing you know, there is a geyser of water sort of raining down on you and hovering in front of the boat at about 15 feet off the surface of the water is a large bronze dragon clutching Kuroma in one claw. He looks down and he says in common, "Are these your friends then?"
Yes.
Oh,
That seems to be them. That was a rather impressive show. You swim fast, don't you, Xylophone?
Well, I love the water.
I can see how you've caught so many of the fish. Do you mind setting me down?
Oh, of course. And he sort of flaps his wings. You guys can feel the wind get sort of pushed against you as he flaps. He sort of gains a couple of feet of air, and he uses it to arc over and sort of like drop Kuroma in the center of the boat, basically opposite Mudar. And then he flaps his wings again to return to his position where he was before.
Thank you for the
This is
ride.
there.
What a beautiful dragon.
right.
Why, thank you.
Everyone meet Xylophone. He says he's the, well, owner of this harbor, if you will. Or at least this harbor is his.
It's home, right?
How long have you
It's a
been
place
here,
where you
then?
live and hunt, right?
Are you a new resident or here a while?
Oh, as I was telling your friend, I've recently moved in the area, I suppose is the way to put it. I hope I haven't alarmed any of you.
A few
Certainly,
Bronze are friendly.
cities.
I've read stories of you and yours. You're great allies. Wonderful.
We find Not just the humans, but all of your kind to be fascinating. You have such interesting lives on the shore here.
Indeed, quite so.
So what have you been doing to entertain yourself since you've arrived? Aside from, of course, having your fill of fish.
I was telling your friend actually that I seek the answer to I called it a riddle, but maybe a mystery is a better way to put
Hmm.
Ooh, I like those.
Is
it.
it
His
one
eyes
you're
sort of twinkle as he said.
is it one that you're willing to share?
It's more of a question than anything else, really, and I've been asking anyone who will listen. Unfortunately, no one seems willing to give me the answer, though many have given me other things instead. I
Maybe they
I want to
fear you are
know
like the Sphinx.
that I pose riddles with a cost.
Exactly.
Oh, oh my! I hope that's not the case. Oh, how embarrassing!
Well,
He sort of
it could be a thing. I mean, out of nowhere comes a wonderful creature such as yourself, and they pose a question, a quandary. Uh, um, and then people hear the story of the Sphinx. You can see the mistake that could happen.
I do, he says after a moment of consideration. Oh no. Please, please tell people that I mean no harm. I merely seek an answer. I want to know why a tree would create a wooden fish and how that fish can swim rather than float.
How a
Would
tree may
the short
do.
answer be magic?
I detected no such magic. Let me explain. Several weeks ago, I was cleaning the harbor. And as I was doing so, I noticed that attached to the hull of one of the ships that came through the harbor was a wooden fish, a fish of wood, as if it had grown like a tree, you understand. It was attached to the bottom of the ship as a you've seen the things that attach themselves to sharks, yes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I was amazed. No, no, I stared maybe for but a moment or two, and as I watched, the creature detached itself from the ship and swam through the ocean as if it was born to it. But I swear to you, it was wooden, as if grown from a tree, and I have yet to understand how such a thing could be.
Hmm.
Um, were you able to get close to it to really give a real gander?
Hmm.
It was far faster than I expected it to be, if I'm being honest. It moved almost as if driven by forces I couldn't see. Um, but I got a good look at it. It was, well, basically the shape of a tuna. You know tuna, I assume.
Very tasty fish. One of my favorites.
And you saw it actually move, like it moved its fins and wiggled through the water. Or did it just kind of point in a direction and start going?
It seemed as if it undulated like a fish, but it could have been the movement of the water itself. I hadn't considered that before, to be honest.
Still seems like a ship.
I've never seen a ship that moved beneath the waves before.
Did you see where it
Apparently, you
was headed?
have.
Did it protrude any bubbles when it moved?
I did not see any bubbles. It headed west, out into open water. I lost sight of it relatively quickly, however.
So it went southwest of us, towards like the.
Yes, out the gate at the southern edge of Stormhaven Island, if that's what you're asking.
You know, if that whole story about how dragons can take a human sort of form is true, you could probably honestly just walk into town and potentially come with us to meet with the head of the wizard town. Probably give you a better answer than us, or point you in the right direction.
Ho ho!
Oh, wait. Chroma. If I
Yes.
remember right, you were wanting to make something that could move this ship a little easier for us before, were you not?
That
You were wanting to
true.
design a machine,
Yeah, how would
like
that
some of
look?
the amazing things that you have made for over at the house that we live in.
Certainly, I could do such a thing.
Would it make an undulation type motion, or would it be more of like a sailing in a straight line type deal?
It could make an undulating type motion if you care for it.
So we could be looking for a tinkering fish, like what's something you could make.
Possibly, but
What is
as
a
far as I
tinkering
know,
fish?
there are no other warforged in this city, and haven't been for hundreds
Yeah,
of years.
but there's plenty of gnomes.
That's true.
Tinkering, they take bits and pieces of this and that, and with a little bit of magic and ingenuity, they put it together. Have you seen a pocket watch? A little, it's an itty bitty timepiece, and the hands move across, and it tells the time, like the bells that chime, but it's in your pocket.
Oh, I've seen sailors with these devices.
He's been able to make other ones similar to that. So possibly that's what you saw. It was someone that had tinkered a device to avoid detection.
Oh, that would make sense. Somebody coming in with contraband.
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
So, out of character, how do we like come to the idea that he saw a submarine?
Hi, I'm tinkering this up. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Suzu, for giving me a character that I've been able to study for a while.
I'm happy to have helped.
I'm gonna go get some water too, by the way. Must stay hydrated.
Face masks dry out horribly.
All right, sorry about that. My back teeth were flipped.
We understand. Verde was trying to make it where his would be flipped.
There's nothing left to drink but gin in my room. I'm scared now.
I'm sorry, there's nothing left but what?
Put gin in my room.
Just gin, huh?
There's no more vodka in the kitchen.
Oh, I'm certain there's vodka in the kitchen. I bought myself a small bottle of gin this week. It's actually already half empty too, which is sort of alarming. But like I brought in like 4 Cokes when I sat down to work this morning, and they're all gone now. So it's like, holy shit, there's literally nothing but that bottle of gin left.
Mix it with some ice cubes.
I like
I'm
gin.
not drinking straight gin. Yeah, no, that's not happening.
You don't have any tonic?
I might have a bottle of ginger ale. I don't have any actual tonic though. No.
You can't double gin it.
Yeah,
I mean, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it.
truth. There's a number of smart individuals in the room. Can someone explain to me why I dehydrate quicker with a face mask on than not? Or at least that's how it perceives.
Do you breathe through your mouth more?
Same as same level as I was before. It just for whatever reason, I just dry out. Like normally, I only had like maybe 1 or 2 cans of soda while I'm at work, or some other canned style beverage. And right now, I'm going through about 4 or 5. It's
Yeah,
rather odd.
I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if there's some sort of like, even though you don't register it as discomfort, some sort of discomfort that manifests as dehydration. You know what I mean? Like something that makes you exhale more often or something. You know?
That's fair. I didn't know the face mask makes me hotter.
Right. I mean, if that's possible, then you could just literally be expiring it more. Yeah.
Or at least the perception of I'm warmer. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm not like claustrophobic, but I really don't like things like covering my face. So I actually will generally breathe out of my mouth more when I'm wearing a mask. So like the same thing happens to me, but I totally know what's going on. I'm just literally a mouth breathing asshole when I'm wearing a mask.
Back.
Welcome back, man.
Welcome. All right. Sorry to have ran out on you like that. If we're all back, we can resume.
Cool.
Oh no. First world problems, and we're on stream, so I don't know how detailed I want to get, but like I had this thing, let's call it an oven, full of some stuff that you might, consume in an oven.
Mhm.
And now it's all in my very deep shag carpet, and there's literally no way in hell I'm getting it back.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, that's like easily $5 that just disappeared.
Oh no.
You could
Did
get.
you just spill your
You
grinder,
forget.
sir?
Yeah.
You could get.
I did that the other day.
Oh, I'm
You could
dude.
get- Do you have a vacuum?
I do, but not of the type that would allow me to recapture it. Like it's just
Okay.
straight up gone. It's
Yeah,
just
like,
not
you don't-
coming.
You don't have a hose that you could then put like a cheesecloth or something over the hose?
No, that is straight up chalked up to the game.
Ball.
Listen, why don't you
I'm surprised you don't have a hand vac.
Why don't you
I haven't had a hand vac since like 1997.
It's shag carpet though. Like it's got everything trapped up in it.
Oh
Fair.
yeah, dude. It's literally like 1 inch deep pile. Like it is the shaggiest carpet I have ever had in my entire life, and I was born in the 70s.
I have a suggestion. Why don't you get down on your hands and knees and just lick it up?
Oh, you went,
Don't let it go to waste, right?
Funny.
you went there.
Nah, it's not Coke.
Dragon accidentally smashes. No.
You know, there's lots of things you can recommend somebody to go down on. I don't think that's one of them.
Shag carpet, absolutely not. No. Gross.
That's the wrong kind of.
I mean, in my day, it never.
You're used to having to tame the jungle.
I mean,
mean-
that is my League of Legends role. Or
Oh.
You've already said the words. You've already said the words shag and carpet. You know.
right, it's too late.
Uh,
All right, you guys were having a serious conversation with a very nice dragon. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You
I don't know how
really-
serious it
So-
was. It was kind of.
So
So
the
legitimately, like,
Tinkercraft, smuggling fish, and
does Mudar know of like Captain Jack Sparrow and his daring do-gooder?
Kurama, do you have
Oh,
any
there
of
are
your...
a couple of well-known pirate bands. I would have to actually go like retrieve them from the Sword Coast Adventures book to give them to you.
Just like the pirate bands, but like they do the scene in the movie with the boat. Do we know about that?
I see what you're saying. No, something like that would be pretty unheard of.
Okay, never mind then. Because if we knew about that, all I need to know is about ballasts, and because I'm a mason, I know about ballasts. Got to fill up air ballasts in order to like lift things sometimes.
Right, to get a stone off the floor, for example. I totally get it.
Mm-hmm. But he could put two and two together for something like that. But
to be fair, that would be a relatively far leap, even for a mason. But a mason would make that leap easier than others.
He's stuck on balloons right now.
Bladders is actually probably what he's stuck on, because that's probably what he would have used as
Bladders.
bags.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, good point. No, he's stuck on the idea of bladders, but a wooden bladder is like
right. And anyone that's cut apart an octopus with an eye towards how they work probably understands something about hydraulics, even if they don't realize.
Mm-hmm. But still,
that said, the age of hydrodynamics just straight up does not exist on this world yet.
Yeah, no, he's stuck on the idea of bladders. Wooden bladders, like what the fuck? Wooden fish. Some magic. It's not, because the dragon didn't see magic.
no, it's not magic. Again,
right. If it was magic, the dragon would totally get it for what it's worth. Like, I mean, sorry, out of character and tabletop.
What if it's magic like what Kurama is?
Well, interesting, because as a party, you guys, I mean, your characters don't know, but as a party, you guys know that it couldn't detect Kurama. So it probably couldn't detect something like Kurama, right?
Is it? Weird.
Which
It
adds
doesn't,
in
it doesn't
more layers.
understand magic imbued in things in that way.
Really? So he wouldn't be able to see like a magic sword, would he?
Probably not. Like, it would probably look just like a normal sword. I mean, that's based on his reaction to Kurama is all I'm saying. I'm not telling you how dragons be. I'm telling you what you can infer as a party from what you know.
That's odd, but okay.
Also, I mean, you guys could roll insight, but Kurama, you know damn well that this dragon's tasted treasure is shit, is basic as fuck.
Yeah, I'm not. I'll keep that to myself. For now, I'm not going to. Of course, I'm not going to.
We're dealing with a teenager. Come on, guys.
Right. I'm not going to. I'm not going to slip the idea that maybe he should upgrade his. Maybe step up his game.
You better up your treasure game, dragon. Oh wait, no, not here.
I mean, come on. Look at your treasure. If you compare your treasure to the treasure, like, say, in some of the other houses just around here, I mean, it's way nicer. They have way nicer treasure. Oh, what's that? They have treasure, and it's much nicer than mine. Oh, just around here, you know.
Yeah,
right.
Avoid the need to make him a peer of the realm. He's a fucking child.
That said, when one of you suggested he take a humanoid form, man, humanoid is such a wrong way to put that. Bipedal.
yeah,
If he were to take bipedal form.
bipedal with a head and two legs and two arms.
Yes.
A torso.
Yeah, he really liked that idea. You can tell that he would have a fun time slumming with you humans. I mean, sorry, he didn't say that out
You
loud.
scoff at the term humanoid, and then you round us all up and you put us all in the same freaking box. I see how it is. Just the humans, huh?
I mean, he's young enough that he kind of fetishizes you two-leggers. You know what I mean? Like, you can kind of tell that he would love to just hang out with you.
Hey, that's our term. Okay, only we can say two-leggers.
Oh
And
God.
we don't.
Anyways, so
You know, you should. You should. We're gonna be opening up this bar. Do you know what a bar is? Do you want to help him run our bar?
You're gonna ask a dragon to work in your bar?
Yeah, if he wants to
I
hang
love
out.
it.
If he wants to hang out, sure.
wait,
Absolutely.
what's the name of the bar
I'll
again?
give him gold for it.
What was
Yeah,
the
I
last
mean,
one?
if you're
doesn't
gonna
want
like
gold.
legitimately extend an invitation, you totally should. Like, you get the impression he might actually.
I will.
Yeah, he doesn't want gold. He wants like pitchers and goblets and shit, right?
And stories. Yeah.
Yeah, he likes stuff. He doesn't care about money.
You're gonna need to come
We
down
could
to my
introduce
side.
him
Do you know what
to
this is? He opens up
Floon.
his Purple haze. Oh, dude, Floon is awesome. Just like saying his name is fun. Don't say it.
Floon.
Floon. See, now you did.
Um,
Come on, get on this boat. We're on a boat. You can only do that with 2 legs.
let's you go by beautiful form similar to one of us. Of course, you being you, please be you. But I think the wizardess, she would know things that she could answer the question.
Definitely.
Or if not, allocate resources to investigate it.
Exactly.
Definitely. And then
And she has many great stories.
Oh, who is this?
Please help me with the name. I just blanked.
Vajra is her name. It's a weird name.
I know her as Lady Vaja, very skilled wizardess, has many stories and has seen many things. I'm sure she'd be very pleased to meet you.
And you know, I bet if you ask nicely, she'll even fund for a bunch of fun around the town. while
Mhm.
hanging out with you.
I'm sure
We should ask people around the docks if they've seen a ship that swims underwater instead of floating.
Or if they've seen a wooden fish.
Yeah.
Fast
Well,
wooden fish.
we could ask for wooden
Well,
fishes.
but a tree. What was it? It's a tree that makes a fish.
He thinks that a tree grew a fish, and he can't understand why.
Right, but it sounds like a ship that swims instead of floats. So we should ask the locals if they have a ship, if they know of a ship that swims instead of floats, right?
Remind me, did he say that he ever encountered one of these fish?
No, he said the one that he saw was the first one that he had ever seen, and that has baffled him ever since. Like, he just doesn't. It violated what he understood as the natural order of things. So he didn't get
Where did he see it?
in the harbor.
When?
He was not specific. He didn't say.
When did you see this fish?
Oh, well, I've seen it the one time for sure, but I think I may have seen it another. The first time was the short time spans you deal with is so weird.
As a 15-year-old.
You would call it a season? No, a week? No, a day? No, a month. You would call it a month. A month ago. I saw it a month ago.
A month ago.
Okay.
And how large was this fish?
Oh, that he holds his paws apart about, you would call it maybe 6-7 meters, so call it 20-21 feet.
It's big tuna.
That would be a good sized tuna.
And he said much, much bigger than you would expect a typical fish to be.
So larger than tuna?
This fish could eat.
Indeed. As large as a
whale.
And he pantomimes a sort of like disc. For those of you who know fish, what he's trying to describe is a sunfish, but he doesn't have the words for it.
He has to have a word
he's
for
like
it.
As big as the round fish.
Oh, the pretty yellow one?
Exactly.
Hmm.
How
I
many,
think it's called sunfish.
Oh, what a beautiful name, he said.
how many
Hmm.
people do you think this fish could eat if it ate people?
9, 10, maybe even a score.
Hmm. If you would, friend, come into a bipedal form onto the vessel. We'll row back to the shore. So, as great a presence as you have, your normal form would cause concern. You understand how scary some bipedal people can be. We scare kind of.
You're certain of it. You are certain that he smiles in a eye socket to eye socket grin down the snout of his draconic face, and he says, "You want me to take 2-leg 4? Ah,
We're gonna have such fun.
You cut out there.
You did.
he said, "Of course." Uh, and he begins to raise his hand, and you see a nimbus of golden light surround his talons, and he begins to speak in a language you definitely have never heard before in your life. And as he says, wait, silly me, I should do this over your boat. And he moves over your boat, and he completes his incantation, and there's a nimbus of golden light that sort of surrounds him and draws into him, and when it's finished, Mudar, basically sitting in your lap, is a 12-year-old girl. Looks like she's probably a half elf, given that her ears are a little pointy, but not really. Also, she is buck ass naked and has long bronze hair that goes all the way down to her knees.
I throw my cloak over her. Wear that.
Bipedal customs. We have to make sure that you wear something.
I'm going from this point onward. As you assume this form, we're going to refer to you as Zoe. That shall be your human name, or rather, your half-elf name, as it seems to be the case. Is that agreeable with you, Zoe?
I like it, she says.
All right, so we got a cloak. We got a good blanket around her.
No, I mean,
As you guys are saying that, she actually looks down at all of you. She sort of sees that you're all wearing clothes. She does the thing with her hand where, I mean, if it was modern day, you would swear that she was like doing like some sort of like sign language or something, but she does something with her hands. And the next thing you know, there's a sort of shimmer in the air, and she's wearing a simple sort of gray wool shift, for lack of a better way to put it. Basically a simple gray like dress. And she says, "This will work, right?"
Yeah.
Oh, that's
okay.
pretty.
Righteous.
Is there is it an illusion or is it an actual dress?
Do you have detect magic?
I mean, I assume I could recognize a minor illusion since I can cast it.
Yeah, oh, fair enough. Yeah, absolutely. It's a minor illusion.
Yeah, okay.
In fact, every time you look at her, you notice that your eyes sort of want to like turn themselves, or like almost like they're skipping off of her like a stone on the surface of a lake.
Mm-hmm.
Like she is very obviously presenting as a thing that she is not, with a very strong illusion. And it's almost irritating how like offensively oppressive it is.
All
It's
right.
it's hard for you to look at her basically without like trying to unravel the magic, and the magic is like way too deep for you to take that effort without getting it.
Also,
Right.
it is autumn, right?
Yes, you are correct. It is not warm.
cool. Keep it warm.
Make sure you keep wearing that cloak that we gave you too, because it is cold for most of us bipedals, and we don't want you to look inappropriate and draw unwanted attention. There's not
She
nice
cocks
people.
her head and she says, "Cold? Is that what that was?"
When you feel, do you remember when you're covered in the spray when you first come out, and there's that wind that blasts you, and it, you know that feeling when you've been swimming, you just come up and you just have this wind go straight across you.
Of course, absolutely. The tingle,
And
I call it.
Yeah, the tingle. That's called cold or cool. You lose temperature. With us, we lose too much temperature. We have problems.
As you're talking,
We
she
just
sort of
die.
leans into you as if this is the most fascinating conversation she's ever had, and she's like, "It's bad."
Well,
like
for us,
too much of it.
literally die.
Depends on the species, quite frankly.
You've seen
There's
ice.
that too.
You've seen ice
strange
before,
your
right?
lives are. Of course.
Yeah. That's what our blood turns to if we get too cold. That's
You
not a
need your blood to be
survivable.
liquid then.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not a survivable situation. In fact, we'll probably be dead long before it actually freezes to ice.
Though
How
I've read of
sad.
some people though that they are made of ice. Diggs'
I live in a
character.
really cold place.
Some dragons are made of ice.
Yes.
She nods her head vigorously as you say that.
And there's others that are like that for bipedals. They're different people, very hard to come by. They're like some of those the elves. Like you know the really the special elves. You know the ones I mean.
She sort of nods and she says, "I've heard there are many kinds of elves. Often you can feel them in the weave. The magic seems to dance around them."
That would not surprise me. They're special.
Say, if you're not familiar with cold, are you familiar with fire and heat?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And she sort of scowls. She sort of draws her eyebrows together and she says, "The Reds in the islands, all about fire."
Yeah.
She
So
even like a little at the end.
I suppose if you're looking for what the opposite of cold is, it's that.
Her eyes kind of light up as you say that, and she says, opposites. I've heard of this, like a gold and a black."
That'd be a very strong opposite, but yes.
How fascinating that you have your own words for these things.
Or a white and a red.
It's how we come to understand things to where we can survive.
Your lives are so short. It's just interesting to me. Some of you only live as long as I've been alive so far. I can't imagine having the thoughts you have in so short a time.
Well, we spend a lot of our time just learning and educating ourselves in our youth. Some more than others. I didn't really take on too much formal learning until a bit later on in life.
It's noble to learn, I think. I am a seeker of truths. I collect them as well, if I'm being honest, as a red collects gold.
Tell me, what's the greatest truth you've collected?
Whoa, she laughs and she says, "I'm not sharing that with you. My truths are for me."
I love
Even
books.
I will share a truth with you. Which finger possesses the power to rule the world? And Mudar holds up his stumpy hand.
She looks at them all for a moment. She sort of smiles and she says, "Well, any finger, actually. Even my own."
Oh, well, shit. Yeah, it looks like you know this one.
That's simply how fate works, my friend. Astute of you to notice.
Zelly, an important part of being a bipedal creature is that you reciprocate kind actions given.
Oh? That
So
seems
for-
just.
So in return for a cloak or passage on a ship, you offer something up in return. Out of the concern and care for one another, for the fellow creatures
Well,
you
Oh,
encounter.
Hmm.
to be fair, you are one that can get by without boat or clothes, so it's tough to say that we've given you much at that
Right.
point. I think the conversation's probably been more
I'm
worthwhile
of-
anyway.
This is a child. This is a child,
Question,
right?
Zelly.
So
Do you know
it
of
doesn't
books?
matter whether or not.
oh, I love books, she says. And Sozo has a point that's worth listening to for what it's worth. As far as dragons
sorry.
go, she's essentially a little.
Yeah.
She's a
Right.
12-year-old girl.
So I'm teaching her an important lesson,
Oh, fair enough.
and
Gotcha.
I'm working to try and get something out of it, right? So,
Yeah.
so, right, I say that.
Okay.
So, what do you think you might offer us that would make us happy? Now, remember the key to gift giving is to try and think of something that would make the other person happiest.
She already said she was going to work in my bar. No, that's out of character.
Yeah, I was gonna say she didn't actually say that. She sort of thinks for a moment, and like because she's taken what you guess to be a half elven form, it's very obvious that she's like screwed up in thought, like her whole face is pinched, in
Right.
the way that only little girls can, and she sort of folded in on herself, and she almost sounds like she's saying, "Ah." And finally she looks at you all and she says, I know what everyone wants. And she raises her hand and she makes another one of those sort of like sign languagey gestures. And everyone should roll insight right now.
I am blind.
Mudar and Clargus so far. I'm missing Diggs though. Okay. Mudar and Clargus, you suddenly feel better than you have in like, let's call it 5 years. Like you feel alive, like more alive than you have felt in, again, let's say 5 years.
By the Emperor.
Why does this remind me of Flex Mentalo? Anybody
You do
watch
something, Zoe?
Doom Patrol?
Totally. Corolla, for what it's worth, you don't register any like palpable change in a visceral sense. However, because of your nature, you suddenly realize that your internal diagnostics report that you have about 20% more vitality than you should.
Ooh, some circus got repaired.
And she says, thank you very much. I hope that you enjoy that.
Oh, appreciated.
Thank you.
You've granted us. You granted us a life. Is that it, Zoe?
Yeah, off the table, all of you are physically 5 years younger than you were.
Oh wow.
um.
Of
Ooh.
course. To a child, based on the conversation,
Oh,
everything we've been
shit.
talking about, her obsession with us being short-lived. A child, of course, thought, what could these people want more than anything? Well, naturally, it's more time to explore the mysteries of the world. Naturally, it's more time to eat fish
Exactly.
and to have
Exactly.
conversations. So why don't I just give them some?
Yeah, exactly, dude. She effectively cast a limited wish on your behalf and gave you all 5 years of life.
I'm
My
very curious
character
how
was
that's going to have a
40?
mechanical benefit.
Oh,
But
fuck
I
off.
like
My
it.
character was 40. There are actual mechanical benefits for this for my character.
Damn, you're right.
Well, I think, like in theory, we should all have some. Well, except for me, we should all have some mechanical benefit. Ha! Which is ironic, right? I'm the only person who
Right.
doesn't have a mechanical benefit. But
Actually, it
sh-
would give you
but
a
I think we should
mechanical
all-
benefit,
which would
or
be
Yeah.
what?
should.
I'm
Kuroma-
5 years younger out of 10,000 or something.
Right. I was going to say, Kuroma, for you, the effect isn't so much palpable mechanically as it is like a narrative tool that you can play on, that you have more like energy than you're used to or something. We'll have to figure
Right.
out how that'll present for you.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I was referring to. It's like you have 5 years worth of energy source restored to you at once. That's not minor. That's pretty.
You sort of
The
hear
depi-
you start to see like what looks to be steam, but it's almost like shimmering, start to sort of like dissipate from my body. And it's apparent, it's very obvious now that I'm not wearing a cloak.
Like a pressure wave around you.
Yeah.
Oh,
A kind gift, Sally.
damn it.
She sort of blushes and nods her head.
More time
Uh,
to find knowledge and send it to the Cubs. This is wonderful.
On that note, this feels like a good place to stop.
Yeah, that's probably fair. We'll basically pick up with you arriving at the docks next session.